One of Us, out today. JT joining us live from Seattle. Welcome to Mystery and Thriller Mavens. Tell us about this book.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's so good to see you. Yay. So It's One of Us. It's One of Us is the story of a young couple who are trying and failing to have children. They are deep in the throes of an infertility struggle. And the morning that my main character, Olivia Bender, has yet another miscarriage and goes downstairs to tell her husband and to be comforted and admit that she has failed him yet again, the police knock on the door before she has a chance to tell him, and they are looking for their son. Obviously, though, they don't have any children. And it turns out somebody has been lying. And Park was a sperm donor many, many years ago and actually has 28 children. And one of them is a murderer.
Dun, dun, dun. And just like that. Dun, dun, dun. Just like that, New York Times bestselling author JT Ellison hooks us good the way that only JT Ellison can. And I am so excited to talk about every single delicious detail of this book, which I absolutely devoured, JT. But first, I just want to welcome everyone. So we are broadcasting live to 7 different destinations across Facebook and YouTube. And if this is your first time with us, welcome. And if you've been here before, you know how it works. So if you have any questions for JT about this book, about her writing process, anything at all, get them going in the comments. I'll get them right over to her. And I'm so excited to announce that we have 2 incredible surprises today. So first of all, we have access to signed, personalized, inscribed books via our favorite woman-owned independent bookstore, Murder by the Book. So if you want to order a signed, personalized copy, this is so exciting, which, by the way, just to remind you, makes the best gifts for yourself or others. Here is that link. And wherever you're watching from, grab your copy today. So here it is. So many questions and comments are coming in already. Catch a clue. Hi, Wendy, saying hi, Sarah and JT. Congratulations on your book launch. Wendy, so great to see you pop up. We have somebody saying, a mystery user saying, my top 10 favorite female authors. Oh my gosh. It's so lovely to see you both. This is from Canadian Courtney. She is a fabulous bookstagrammer extraordinaire. Anissa Joy joining us live from South Carolina. Greenville saying, so excited to read this one and to meet JT next week. Anissa, welcome. Canadian Courtney says, let me know how I can get my dog's paws on this book. I have been dying to read it. I've read every single one of JT's books, and they're always 5 stars from me. They are always 5 stars, right? Canadian Courtney. JT Ellison delivers. Erin Alford, welcome to the conversation, saying, hi, Sarah and JT. I'm so excited that this amazing book is out in the world. Hooray. Me too. We have another mystery user saying hi, another saying hello. Okay, the questions are already coming in. Let's get right to them. Anissa wants to know, how did you decide on 28 children? 28 children indeed.
You know what? That's a really good question, because it has to be a number that's large enough to be shocking. And it needs to be a number that's not so large that you roll your eyes. So I went back and forth, and 28 just felt like the right number of children. And it gives 19 male suspects, which is what we were looking at. Is it's male DNA that they've got that matches.
What a great question, Anissa. And thank you for that great answer, JT. And wait a minute. Do you guys hear a knock at the door? Wait, is someone here? It's New York Times bestselling author Lisa Unger. Hello, Lisa Unger.
Hello.
Oh, great to see you pop in.
Happy Pub Day, JT.
Thank you.
I love your book so much, and I love you so much, and I'm so happy for you, and I'm so proud of you. And as soon as I logged on, the first thing I heard was 28 just felt like the right number of children. And I was like, no, one is the right number.
What is wrong?
Of course, you were talking about something else.
I mean, I would have taken 28 if I could have gotten them, but that's a big house and a lot of cars, right?
It is. It's a lot of cars. That's a lot of like driver's licenses and proms.
Can
and
you
whatnot.
imagine all of the errands run? And oh my gosh, yeah.
God.
Oh my God.
So
Congratulations. Happy Pub Day. I'm so excited that Sarah invited me to be part of your event tonight.
Well,
oh my goodness.
I love you and I appreciate it. And everybody needs to get Secluded Cabin Sleeps Six, which also has a DNA storyline to it.
It does.
It's fascinating. Fabulous book.
And don't you remember we were out to dinner. JT happened to come down to my area and we all went out to dinner and we just started talking about like, what are you working on? Blah, blah, blah. And then we realized that we both had this like thread through our novels. And, it's funny because we were both like, oh, and like JT is like, oh my God, really? It's the same? I'm like, it'll never be the same. Like you can't I mean, of course we're all like listening to the same news stories and reading the same stuff and watching the same, so like it's in the ether kind of, right? Like these ideas, but we're never going to bring the same story to our readers,
True.
Yeah.
And it is, they're very, very different, but wow.
Yeah.
That was really funny.
It's very cool.
I loved reading both of these books. I loved both of your takes on some of the same themes. Fascinating stuff. And everybody's so excited to see you here. Lisa, Erin is saying 2 of the best, Lisa and JT in the same event. And Lisa saying
we
Lisa
love Erin.
Unger. YouTube, OMG, Lisa Unger in the house. John, welcome to the conversation. Saying greetings from Northeast Ohio. And y'all, let's take a peep at what Lisa had to say about JT's book. Lisa said, G.T. Ellison is one of my favorite authors. I eagerly await everything she writes, and It's One of Us. And in It's One of Us, she is at at the very top of her formidable game. Do not miss this layered, emotional, and twisting thrill ride. So says Lisa Unger, New York Times bestselling author of Secluded Cabin Sleeps Six. Thank you so much. Yay!
Such a great blurb. Thank you.
Oh my goodness. Wait a minute. Do you guys hear? Wait a minute. Is someone else? Heather Gudenkauf, Times bestselling author of The House Guest. Welcome to the conversation.
I'm so happy to be here, and congratulations, JT, on another amazing read. So love it so much. And I can tell the quick story of how JT and I first met. I was a brand new, not even a published author yet, on my first ever book event with the publishing team. And I met JT. She made me feel so welcome, so comfortable. I was so nervous, unbelievable. And I was just thrilled. I remember when I found out JT was going to be at the same event, I just was screamed to my husband that, oh my God, JT. So it was amazing. So such a generous, supportive author friend, as is Lisa.
Hi, Heather. Hi. Yay. We really, JT and I were just having a very funny text conversation the other day. And, it really is, these friendships are really with you, JT, and with you, Sarah, and you, Heather, these friendships are so powerful and so meaningful, just personally and professionally, because, the journey is lots of highs and lows, lots of twists and turns, and I feel like we always have each other's backs. And that is such an amazing thing. It really is.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, everybody's
I remember
so
that
excited
party.
to see you.
You were wearing a gorgeous blue dress. We were on a rooftop, and you were, and I remember seeing you standing there. I'm like, "Who is that? I got to go talk to her." Fate that we were going to be friends.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, I love this. Well, everyone's so excited to see you join the chat, Heather. Anissa saying, Heather! Catch a clue, aka Wendy saying, hi, Heather. Oh my gosh, we're so excited. And y'all, let's take a peek at what New York Times bestselling author Heather Gudenkauf had to say about this book, because y'all are going to want to peep this praise as well. I'll pop it up so we can all read it together. She says, I'm waiting for it to come up here. She says, this expert expertly explores the intensely complex emotions surrounding infertility, loss, and marriage. Throw in a murder, a vivid cast of characters, and shocking secrets. Ellison masterfully mines the human heart in this treasure of a thriller that will keep readers turning the pages long into the night. So says Heather Gudenkauf, New York Times bestselling author of The Overnight Guest. Heather, thank you for those wonderful words and for joining us.
Meant every word. It was just such a journey to be able to open up this book and just feel all the feels, and you know, there's nothing better than a thriller that's super emotional too. Really connect with the story and the character, so you not only get the thrills and chills, but you also get really connect with the characters. So bravo.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Thank you so much.
Because this book is so meaningful. Let's get into some of the questions coming in. Scott, welcome to the conversation. And Scott says 28 kids. He shares that he was a sperm donor many years ago. So he may not remember all the legal details correctly, but he says, I know I never received nor expected to any notification that any of my donations had led to successful pregnancies. I am Canadian, so I don't know if maybe the rules are different stateside. You implied that the husband had been lying. JT, let's talk about that.
So it's a lie of omission, right? It's a lie of omission about his emissions.
Nice one. That was good.
Right. But why I say he's lying. He has had the opportunity to come clean with Olivia. She gives him the greatest gift that she can possibly give, which is telling him that she wants him to donate because she doesn't think she's going to be able to carry a child for him. And she wants him to have something of himself left behind. And he, at that moment, can tell her, honey, I've already done it. I did it when I was a kid. It was all closed. Nobody, don't worry about it. But he doesn't. He doesn't tell her. And that breaks that marriage. I mean, those are the kinds of lies of omission that you can never, ever do. There's different kinds of lies, but I think the omission is the worst possible kind.
Ooh,
and in the States, things are very different. This is a very unethical sperm donation company.
Exactly.
Not all of them are like that. Most are not.
The laws have really changed over the years too, and now it's really the layman technology, the DNA testing, and then these groups of people like the sibling donor registry and all that has really been a game changer for people who thought they were donating their sperm anonymously. And not so much.
Not so much. Not anymore.
Yeah.
Not so much. And this is a very true issue. I mean, New York Times bestselling author Dani Shapiro explored this in her last memoir. She realized that the man she had called dad her whole life was not, in fact, her biological father, and that biologically she was not, she was only half Jewish, which was devastating and traumatic to her, who had hung part of her, a large part of her identity on this. And the sperm donor place that her mom had gotten had been mixing the sperm. So it's very interesting. Erin saying, and Erin, I totally agree with you. The part where Heather said, masterfully mines the human heart. She says, I'm totally borrowing that, Heather. Yeah, that was also such a beautiful, I think, powerful part, Erin. I totally agree with you. And it's so true about JT's work and about this book, because to JT's point, you get into those painful cracks in a marriage and what you say and what you don't say and what you do and what you don't do, and how those cracks turn into wounds that can ultimately really impact a marriage. Totally agree. Leisha, welcome to the conversation, saying hello all. Hi, Leisha. Thanks for joining us. Leisha's tuning in from Texas. Great to have you here. Y'all, the book is out today. Oh, Melissa's joining us live from Australia. She says, hello, ladies. Great to see you.
Hi, Melissa.
Thanks for joining us, Melissa. Y'all, the book is out today, and we are able to offer signed, personalized copies because JT is going to our favorite woman-owned independent bookstore next week. So here is the link to order. And in the notes section, put who you want it signed to. So this is the perfect gift for yourself or the thriller lover in your life. So here is that link. No matter where you're watching from, Facebook or YouTube, grab your copy and just say who you want it signed to. And JT will be able to sign that for you March 1st. And the good folks at Murder by the Book will send that out to you. We have a wonderful opportunity tonight. Heather, what about this book resonated for you? Was it the marriage? Was it the mining of the human heart? Tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, all of it. But, it's just digging into the characters and how they relate to each other, how they, navigate such a difficult time. I mean, it's just amazing and how crazy that the whole situation was. And I know JT put a lot of her heart and soul into this book, and it just was a very emotional but roller coaster thriller read as well.
Definitely.
I love that. I want to get into some of the other things that are coming in from folks. So we have some questions coming in. Oh, Wendy's saying Secluded Cabin Sleeps Six was so great. I totally agree. I love that you guys were working on these books together, both talking about some of these same issues, because we're all thinking about. I did 23andMe. I was bummed I didn't get any surprises. I was ready.
Some of us are like looking for stuff. Like, please, let there be something.
Yes, exactly. Anissa says, "Happy Pub Day! Such a gorgeous cover." And someone else is asking if you can tell us more about the cover. Did you get to be part of it? Did you get to choose it?
Yes, actually. So our incredible artist, Sean Capitan, who has done probably the last 7 or 8 of my books, he did a whole presentation. I got to see the path of how he came up with this. And the first few concepts, everybody rejected, and they went back to the drawing board, and my editor sat down with him and said, listen, we need something that has a lot of wow. And this is a really deeply emotional book. It's different. It's a different JT book. It's not the same kind of thriller that she's written before. It's very emotional. And he came up with this garden path with the huge crack through it. And the color scheme was just absolute. And when he brought it back to the art meeting, it was a universal yes from everyone. And they sent it to me, and I was like, oh my God, yes, that's it. It's brilliant.
So your editor had a whole buffet of options, and then and those were not right, and then they were able to refine it and present you with this one.
Yep. And Sean calls it the unicorn. He says there's one book a year that he gets the cover like that they don't go through 5, 6, 7 rounds of covers. I mean, y'all know it's a very normal thing. You see some comps and it's like, well, maybe that doesn't say it exactly. So yeah, he nailed it. He nailed it. And it's just, I love it. It's just gorgeous. Stands out so well.
So great.
I love that. Robin, welcome to the conversation. Joining us from North Idaho. She shares a snowstorm is just blew in. Welcome to the conversation. Let us know if you can stay with us. Leach is saying that cover is just beautiful. Diane saying the cover is super. Linda, welcome to the conversation, saying love the cover. When you know, you know. Amen. And it's, I mean, what a gift to put your words into visual art. I just sort of in awe of that talent. And Nisa would like to know what your writing day looks like. So yeah, walk us through a day in the life of New York Times bestselling author JT. Do you rise with the sun? Do you flow easily to your desk? The words pour out of you? I mean, or are you just like pounding your head on the desk until you bleed? What's it like?
I want to be Lisa Unger, who that's what happens to her.
I do get up very early. I am an early bird writer for sure.
Yeah, I am not.
How early?
You're done with you're up at like 5, right?
I am. Yeah, I'm usually working by, I just feel like I have to do it before all the chaos sets in, like those early morning hours are like so golden for me. I think everybody has their different rhythm, like
you're done with your words for the day before I get up.
Probably.
I am not.
Yeah,
I'm not a morning person at
like
all.
right now, like 8 o'clock. Like this is like, okay, I need to go get my jammies.
Time for bed. Yeah, I'm the opposite. I don't start writing until about 10, and I write from 10 to 12. Take a lunch break, have a driveway date with my husband, go get some vitamin D, sit in the driveway, and then we have lunch and kind of talk about what's going on in our day, and then I'll do a second round in the afternoon if I haven't hit my word goal.
Yeah.
And what is your word goal?
I try to do 1,000 words a day, but this book defied that because it was so hard to write, because it was so touching so much on my own personal experience. I would write it in huge chunks. I would throw down 7,000 words and I wouldn't come back for 2 weeks. Then I'd write 5,000 and then I wouldn't come back for 2 weeks. And then I'd do 10,000 and it happened over a November and December, just in huge chunks of words. It was different. It was a very different experience than my usual. Wow. Usually I just nip at it every day.
Did that feel scary for you? Or were you like, yes, flow? Or were you like, oh, this is getting too intense? What was that like?
It was getting too intense and I had to step away. I just couldn't access that level of emotion for that long. Mm-hmm. It was a different process. Heather, how do you do it? What is your writing day?
I tend to start by 8 or 9, write for 2 or 3 hours, go for a walk, go swimming, and then I'll come back and work. And then I'm kind of a putzer in the evening too. I'll come back to it around this time and just not do the heavy duty writing or revising, but just kind of look back through, make notes. And so I kind of scatter it throughout the day. I don't know if that's the most efficient way to do it.
I don't think you choose, right? Like you don't really get to choose what your process is. Like you kind of just like have to, find where your flow is and then just kind of honor that. Your kids are grown, right, Heather? They're like out of the house. So yeah, I still, still like running that gauntlet of like kid and dog and house and all that stuff. So it's like, it's interesting like how that shifts throughout your life as well.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. I wrote much differently when my children were younger.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that. Now, JT, for this book, pouring out of you at 5 to 1,000 words at a time, which we learn at the end is a very personal story for you. And as I was reading it, having read so many of your other books, it felt like a different kind of JT. It felt like a different kind of Ellison. There was a rawness and I felt it in my bones. I felt it in my viscera as I was reading it. And I was so honored to learn at the end that this came from such a personal place for you and that you were willing to bring that out into the light and to share that part of you. Did that feel extra hard and extra scary for you? Absolutely. Yeah. I think everybody on the screen and a lot of people watching know that feelings are not my friend. I am not really good at expressing myself. We had hidden a lot of what happened. We obviously, the author's note discusses my husband and I's path with infertility and the fact that I could get pregnant, but I couldn't stay pregnant. And I lost a number of children. And it was incredibly difficult. And I think I just put it away in a little box that I didn't touch for many, many years. I knew I wanted to write this story, but I kept writing it from Park's point of view. And something just wasn't working, right? I kept the idea of children coming to the door and knocking and, one after another. And it's like, how many are out there? But it didn't have the hook and it didn't have the resonance of when Olivia is involved, when we bring her into the story. And now you have that really interesting, what would I do if I was in her shoes? And the whole thing came together. And then, of course, one of them has killed somebody and maybe there's other people that they're, so, definitely something that happened in my life. I mean,
obviously somebody's killed somebody.
Right. It happens all the time. I mean, it wouldn't be a thriller without that. Exactly. And that's how I took something that was much more of a women's fiction story and made it a thriller. was twisting that. So it's a mashup of the two. And, yeah, it was a hard book to write, but talking about it, actually now having talked about this a couple of times, being able to connect with women on this issue. A lot of us have had miscarriages. A lot of us have gone through this infertility. It's so incredibly common. And I want to destigmatize this conversation. I want this to be something that we can all say, oh my God, me too, and not have it be something that we hide from everybody. Like it's a shame that we need to a sin that we weren't able to. That's just wrong. And I want that to end. I want us to be able to be open and honest with each other. And so I decided to start with myself.
And we're so glad that you did. And I wish you guys could see how many hearts and care emojis and thumbs up you're getting from Facebook. This resonates. People feel that. And the only way that we're going to open the conversation is to open the conversation. And you do that so bravely and so boldly, JT. And first of all, I just want to acknowledge that. I want to honor that, the incredible act of bravery that it is to open yourself so deeply and to share that. And I want to show, how it is resonating with people, both in all of the love I'm seeing coming up on Facebook, and also, in the incredible reviews that I'm seeing. Melissa Watson saying, bravo. Exactly. Yes, because we need, she says, bravo, JT. Sending you hugs. Yes. And we're seeing this resonate with women, as a culture shifting, destigmatizing, key into a conversation. And we're also seeing this work honored. Library Journal awarding you a starred review, raving betrayal, obsession, and familial ties that bind, create a tension-filled story with an intriguing theme. Readers will race through the pages to an end they did not see coming. So, seeing that starred review, seeing all of the amazing praise from authors like Lisa Unger, Heather Gudenkauf, Ruth Ware, so many others. This work is really just taking off. And it's so great to see, that courage rewarded.
It has been rewarding. It has been very rewarding and not as hard as I thought it was going to be.
It's funny. My therapist always says that when you say the thing that is hardest for you, when you drag that thing that you're so ashamed of out into the light, and people say, "Hey, me too.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, this isn't, this thing that I was so scared of isn't actually that bad. It's so powerful. Okay, perfect. So let's look at some of this other amazing praise from, for instance, Ruth Ware, who raves a heart-stoppingly tense thriller. So JT, let's talk about that. What have you learned over the course of 25 books? Is this 26?
This is 25.
25. Okay. What have you learned over the course of 25 books about how to write a heart-stoppingly tense thriller?
That it took me 25 tries to get it right.
I think you got it right long before this. You've never not gotten it right.
Right.
This one just feels so different, I think, because it's just so personal, right? But I think it's important to have a character that people can fall in love with. And I think you need a propulsive plot. And I think you need a cool setting. And I think you need a plot that people can connect with. And that is something that I think absolutely happens in this book. It happens in all of our books. That's why we have the fabulous fans that we do for our work, because we've tapped into something that the readers really, really love. And it's all the character. It's all the plot. It's all the things that we're putting together. But I don't know that I'm doing it any different or better than anybody else. We've got an amazing roster of talented writers out there right now. Just day in and day out, I see new books coming out, like Julie Bart's book that came out today looks so good. It's like, how do we even keep up with all the amazing talent that is out there? I think we've mined a vein of this genre and we're all hitting our strides. It's really cool.
I like that. Lisa Unger, over to you. What do you think? What have you learned over the course of 20 best-selling books? What do you know about heart-stoppingly tense, building a heart-stoppingly tense book?
I don't know anything about it, to be perfectly honest.
Liar. You're a lying liar who lies.
Oh my God, really? Yeah. I mean, honestly, like for me, I think, and I know both of you will agree that, all three of you will agree that everything begins and ends with character. Character is king, and that's what draws me into my novels. And, I follow usually a voice or voices through my manuscripts. And I feel like as long as I'm deeply involved with those characters and I care what's happening to them, and I have that kind of breathless, attention to my story and to what I'm writing, then I feel like if I have that, then I can bring my readers along on that journey. And that's what I strive for every book. I just try to be better every book. I try to dig deeper. I try to, be truer in every book. And that's, that's where I dwell, like, I don't know that there's necessarily anything that I could say about how does one create a heart-stopping thriller. It's like, I think it's about your own heart. How are you feeling in your novel? How are you in that process? What are you bringing to the page? And if you bring all yourself to the page, then you're giving everything you can to your reader.
Ooh,
so
bravo.
I hope that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm trying to do.
And you do it so well.
I think you're
dropping gems. Heather, over to you. What you are no stranger to building a heart-stoppingly tense, suspenseful plot. What have you learned along the way?
Well, I've learned that I just have to I write ugly. I get everything on the page and it's not pretty. And I have to write it. It's very layered. I think, I get everything out there. I agree about the character development. That's huge, because if it doesn't ring true with the character, the readers, of course, aren't going to come along on that journey with you. And for me, it takes me a while to get to know my characters. And for me, the revisions are where my story really comes through, and I just layer in. I'm always having to push myself to go darker and deeper, I think. And I think we find with, like looking at this group right here, thriller writers are so nice and mysterious. They're so nice people, and not dark and moody and brooding people. So it's a lot of fun, and being able to step into the shoes of characters who are facing some challenges.
Yes, facing some challenges. I love that. And you said it so beautifully. Chris, welcome to the conversation. Oops, I scrolled right past. Saying, JT, your insight and writing vulnerability is what sets your work apart. It's raw. It's real. Yes. And I think this book, more than any of your other incredibly raw and real books, is more raw and real than ever. And Chris, you're going to feel that when you read this book. And I look forward to hearing your thoughts. Sherry, welcome to the conversation, saying happy pub day, JT. Yes, I love that. Erin saying, Lisa, you know all the things. I have read all of your books. Yes, Lisa, so fantastic. We have such an all-star lineup here supporting JT on her pub day for this special nationwide launch party. Erin saying, JT, you haven't gotten it wrong and you never will. I love it. Totally.
You're perfect, JT. We love you.
Oh my gosh, should we get Jason that says I'm perfect?
Pretty princess.
Yes.
You're very
That'd be so
you're very
Oh my goodness. Well, so many people or other people, I want to get some of this other amazing praise. Jocelyn Jackson raving that you bring all the twists, chills, and thrills. I'll pop this up so we can all read it together. Also talking, and this is a long one, so I'm not going to keep it up for long, but saying, I expect from the preternaturally gifted Ellison, and it's also an emotionally resonant read that I can't wait to recommend to my book club, The Secrets Snarled in the Threads of an Unraveling Marriage. and a heroine who wholly won me over. Put this one on my keeper shelf. You are going to love it. She is the New York Times bestselling author of With My Little Eye. Congratulations on that amazing praise. So many, I mean, it's just such a pleasure to see how your work resonates with so many authors and so many readers, JT. When you were, I was just wondering, because you do write from both male and female perspectives, it seems equally adeptly. So I was interested to know that you first only wrote from Park, the husband's perspective at first, and it wasn't quite resonating with you. Then you brought Olivia, the wife, into the conversation. Do you feel equally comfortable writing male, female perspectives?
Yes. Yes, I do. I am a woman, so I can do that without too much trouble. And I grew up with brothers and a cool dad, and I've got a really cool husband. So if I ever get something, a little bit wrong, then they can adjust it for me. But yeah, I mean, I have no problem with that. Some of my male characters are some of my favorites.
Ooh. So do your cool brothers and cool husband read your book? And have they ever said, JT, you got us wrong? Like, Park would never say this. He's a dude.
Randy my husband does read my books, and so does my dad. My dad's my first reader. So he always gets the manuscript before anybody else, and he reads it and lets me know, oh, hey, this works, this doesn't. Yeah, Randy will definitely step in and say, hey, no, I would never say that. I was like, oh, okay, what would you say? So yeah,
and then he has to sleep on the couch.
Never,
exactly.
Never.
Oh my gosh.
Absolutely.
Wait, so your cool dad gets it before Randy?
Well, poor Randy has it every single night, right? He hears,
Okay.
I don't know if y'all do this over dinner, but he hears every plot permutation as it's happening. So when he reads the book, it's not really a surprise, right? But when my dad reads it, he's heard the broad strokes, but he's not going to have all of the details and the nitty gritty. And I try to hold stuff back from him so he can be surprised. And then I have to warn him, hey, there's sex on page 56. Don't read that page. That kind
oh my
of
gosh,
stuff.
you warn him not to read it? That is funny. Oh my goodness.
It's kind of mortifying. It's like, skip over that chapter.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Randy is like, I've never been so proud in my life. He was like, Park or Pandy. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Jacqueline. Oh, let's get to more of the praise. Hannah Mary McKinnon saying this gripping, breathless thriller adds an incredibly unique premise and delivers on a novel that's also deeply poignant about our deepest desire for love, family, and happiness. Were you surprised to see that is that what you thought the deepest desire was? Or were you like, oh, Hannah Mary McKinnon sees something different in this book?
I'm kind of fascinated. I have been so incredibly blessed with the endorsements. I went to every author that I absolutely love and read their work and respect their work and asked them if they would go on this journey with me, that I was in a new place. I was putting myself out there in a way that I never have before. And everybody came back and said, yes, we will do this with you. And it is just a who's who of my favorite writers. There is nothing cooler than your favorite writers blurbing your book, right? And saying nice things and getting it. I mean, it's been an incredibly humbling experience. And obviously, two of you are right here, and you know how much I love you and how much I appreciate it. And to everybody who blurbed this book, I mean, I've been humbled over and over and over. It's been it's almost been as cool as having the book come out, was getting these incredible endorsements from the authors that I love.
Oh, I love that. And to see how they interpret it differently. Lisa, let me
the question.
Yeah.
So I know that a lot of the story comes from your experiences, and that's where like all the kind of the raw emotional, journey of the book. It's like the heart is yours. It belongs to you. But I'm curious also about the research and stuff. I know I did a ton of research for Secluded Cabin Sleeps Six, and it was like such a journey, like into the DNA testing and all the ways that it has changed over the last like 10 years, like just the evolution of that industry and stuff. And so I learned a lot of like, really interesting things. And so I was wondering, like, the research part for you, the part that you had to look into and dig into, like, what was was there anything that really surprised you, or, did you go in thinking one thing and come out thinking something else, or, what were your experiences with research for this book?
Honestly, I didn't realize how unregulated the donor industry is. I mean, it's shockingly unregulated, and that's starting to change.
Scary.
I mean, you've seen the case in Georgia, right? So donor 9362, the podcast and the book donor 9362, absolutely fascinating. It is a donor who has schizophrenia, and they knew it, and they continued using him. He was one of their most popular donors, and they used him over and over and over. Wow, and now all of these families have this possible ticking time bomb in their children. And this is how the laws in Georgia are being changed because of this case. It's well worth looking into. The other story was Robert Kolker's Hidden Valley Road. It's the Galvin family. They have 12 children, and 6 of the boys were diagnosed schizophrenic.
Oh my God.
Absolutely fascinating story. And it's interspersed with the fact that treatment for schizophrenia has not changed over the past 60 years. It's the same medications, it's the same therapies. And they have discovered, some of the doctors have discovered, they think that choline in utero will actually prevent bipolar and schizophrenia.
Oh my God.
They won't know if it's right. They don't know if their theory is right. They're going to die before they find out. But they've been doing a decades-long study with adding choline in utero to see if it helps, which is just, so super fascinating stuff. And that really informed a lot of what I was doing.
Wow.
And the sibling donor registry. And, obviously, as I was writing it, all these, TV shows and
changing. It was changing as you were writing it.
Changing as I was writing it. And same with you. I mean, we were immediately dated, everything that we did, because something new was happening. It was fascinating. It was really fascinating.
It is fascinating. The whole, all of it is, like, every element of it. It's like, for me, it's like the technology and stuff, the kind of things that I look into, like, it's not really like the technology that interests me. It's the way it's rewriting how we relate to each other. And this is definitely one of those areas that's like upending kind of everything about, like, what do we think is a family? Like, is it biology? Is it, is it action? Is it, is it proximity? And just the idea that we are, we create family, we choose family, and, like, then there are things that we don't choose. And it's just all very twisty helix of a situation, right?
It is. And, we have this whole nature versus nurture debate. And I like to throw into the nature versus nurture debate that we have free will. I mean, I don't care what kind of upbringing you have, you're still making a choice to do good or do evil.
Absolutely. And there's really no parsing it out. I mean, like, even when you talk about something like the knockout gene, right? Like, which is the male gene for violence, like, that can be present, right? But it doesn't mean very much unless it's coupled with trauma, abuse, head injury, even, and then it can be a factor. But it's like, and I guess it does sort of bring into the question of, like, what is your biology? What is your choice? What is your upbringing? That it all kind of, it plays a part in our lives.
You got real deep into that in The Stranger Inside. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I'm very, very interested in that question. I mean, that's like pretty much what drives every single one of my books. It's like, what makes us who we are, like, or what's wrong with you? That's really the question at the heart. Like, what's wrong with
you've done that too. I mean, you've done that. I mean, I think it's something that we definitely latch onto for sure.
It's a curiosity. I mean, that's like the ultimate mystery, right? It's like the human mind.
Why do we do what we do? Why are we who we are?
Mm-hmm.
I had not heard about that case in Georgia, but I remember probably 10 years ago, the sort of first big case about this was a guy in Boston who had over 500 children.
Ooh.
and he was shocked to find out. And I don't know if they had, I watched the documentary at the time, but I don't know if they had sort of oversold his sperm or what, because that is so many children. And someone in the comments
That's a lot.
A lot of people.
That's a lot of people. And someone in the comments saying, I'm scrolling back to get it now, saying she just did 23andMe because she wanted to make sure she wasn't related to her husband, which is, if you have 500 kids,
I mean,
legitimate.
Yeah.
This can absolutely happen. I mean, it's a very real thing.
Yeah. Wow.
That's another book. That's another different book. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
I was
like,
I don't know that we would be able to publish that one. That one's not going to get picked up. That proposal is getting declined, I think.
No, do not write that. Nobody wants to read that one.
Exactly. Here, I found the comment. Yeah, because in both of your books, the donees end up, connecting with each other in various ways. And so that is an interesting thing. I think they try to, the responsible clinics are trying to spread it around,
Well, they can't stop it now, because now with the DNA testing, and then all the, the donor sibling registry, and all the different ways that people connect with each other now, there's no stopping it. There's no way to regulate it.
Right. Yeah. It's very, very interesting. Exactly. Someone's saying
we're not even getting to the private party donation, because that's a lot.
Right.
Wait, what's that? I don't know what that is.
It's where you go to a party and you donate. Donate your sperm to like whomever happens to be there. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
There's just a turkey baster and a cheese platter.
It's a donor party.
No, it's when you have one of your best friends, donate for you.
Wow. Okay.
The big chill. That's a private party donation.
Oh my goodness.
I want to go to that party. That's an interesting party.
That's another book. Somebody write it down. Somebody
write it down. Oh, maybe you guys could do a group. You could do a 3 POV group. I would do that.
There's our anthology.
That's a 3-author book right there.
That's right.
Donor party.
Hey, that would be a book we would all pick up. Oh my goodness. Well, Heather, I know you have to head out. Thank you so much for coming. Well, we have 12 minutes left. New York Times bestselling author Heather Gudenkauf, thank you for coming and sharing this.
JT. It's so good to see you all. So take care.
Thank you, Heather. Love you.
Bye.
Erin saying donor party. There's just a turkey baster and a cheese platter. It's not a party.
We are so twisted. I mean, we're just like totally so twisted. It's really bad.
Oh, we are. I mean, this is pretty tame, really. I mean, if we're honest.
Oh my goodness. Alicia saying, thank you so much for joining us, Heather. Yes, Alicia, for all of us. So wonderful. There were 2 other people that had hoped to make it tonight, JT, but they had prior commitments. So I just want to give them a quick shout out. So the first is Liv Constantine, and I want to pop up. She wanted to come and she couldn't. And she said, this book is, quote, beautifully written and impossible to put down. Master storyteller JT Ellison will have you spellbound with this deeply layered psychological thriller, immersive and propulsive. It's One of Us, keeps you turning the pages with an ending you will never see coming. I absolutely loved it. Yay. And she says she sends you her best and congratulations on this. Yay. Thank you for holding that up, Lisa.
Her new book is amazing too. The Senator's Wife, so good.
Oh, yeah. I just got my copy of The Senator's Wife.
It's so good.
I just got it. Oh, good. I can't wait.
It's great.
It's just got mine as well. And she's coming on May 23rd. She and Valerie are coming on May 23rd to give us the inside scoop on that one. And I want to just share some of this other, and Mary Kubica was also hoping to make it, but she had a prior commitment. And so she says she sends you her best and congratulations. And she absolutely loved it as well. So sending love from both of those folks, as well as Jacqueline Michard. And she says, this is one of the most compelling psychological suspense stories I have read in years. Congratulations on that rave review. Yes, exactly. And I just want to make sure I'm getting everybody's comments. Erin saying the twistier, the better. Amen. We're in the right place. Diane, welcome to conversation, saying a turkey baster will never look the same.
But that's how you do it. I mean, truly.
Yeah.
Self-insemination. It's very easy.
Sorry. I don't know how I started this.
Well, there's the scene in JT's book where, because JT's protagonist is a nurse, so she's not afraid to DIY.
And we've devolved now.
It's not that complicated. I mean, let's face it.
It's not that complicated. It's not.
Oh my goodness. Y'all, the book is out today. It just dropped, and you can grab your signed and personalized copy from our favorite woman-owned Murder by the Book. So you can just Murder by the Book. JC's going to be there on March 1st. So order now, and then just put in the notes section who you would like it personalized to, and the good folks at Murder by the Book will send it out to you on March 2nd. So here's that link, whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube. And now I'm just thinking of turkey basters and tubes.
We're about to just lose it.
Grab your copy and say who you want to. Now, I shop year round. I stockpile those Christmas gifts and birthday gifts all year round. So,
Mother's Day is coming up. So, get one for your mom.
This is the perfect Mother's Day gift. I just thought of it. This is the perfect Mother's Day gift.
The Mother's Day is not really coming up. It's not until May, but it's never too early. It's never too early to buy your Mother's Day gift.
Oh my God. Diane says she is rolling around on the floor laughing. Erin saying face tube for the win.
Yeah.
Nice.
But in all seriousness, this is the perfect Mother's Day gift, because this talks about what makes a mother and to Lisa's point, what makes a family. And the heart of that, and the love of that, and the realness of that. And that is one of the many, many things that I loved. GT, is there anything that you wish that an interviewer had asked you that you would like to share with us?
Oh, I have no idea. This has just been, it's an amazing journey, an amazing reception. And I'm just thrilled that we're able to talk about it tonight. And I thank you guys so much for doing this. It's just makes me very happy. I feel very loved and supported.
You are very loved and supported. And we're not the only ones. I mean, we've got the incredible Christy Woodson Harvey raving the perfect mix of edge of your seat tension, deep emotion, and impeccably developed characters. JT Ellison's latest is a master class in storytelling. Secrets and lies, love and loss mix flawlessly to create a novel that touches every single emotion. Fans of Lisa Jewell and Ruth Ware will flock to It's One of Us, and book clubs won't be able to stop talking about it. 5 dazzling stars. I mean, that is look how this book is resonating with people. Look how it's, look at what the praise coming in is just so lovely. Jane Ann Krentz also adding her praise, saying this is an extraordinary, unpredictable, and absolutely riveting thriller, and a fiercely insightful, emotional journey. This is a psychological suspense at its most enthralling and intense. I mean, look at this praise, GT. Are you taking this in? Look at this. This is so amazing.
I actually had coffee with Jane Ann this afternoon. She lives here in Seattle, and we spent 2 hours together having a cup of tea and a cup of coffee and chatting about life in this book and her new work. And it was really, really cool. It's neat to be able to spend my release day with my friends. This has been amazing.
Oh my goodness.
JT,
Well,
congratulations so much. I have to pop off, but it's been so much fun to celebrate with you.
Thank you so much.
I love this book. I love you. Sara, you're amazing. Thanks for inviting me. I'm so happy I could share your launch day with you, even though we're all the way across the country from each other. That's like,
I know.
It's
such a
amazing.
blessing. Yeah.
I'm so glad that we could. Thank you, Lisa, for coming on and celebrating this incredible Nashville brilliant beauty with us. And again, here's Lisa's fabulous rave review for JT. Lisa, have a great night. Thank you for coming on.
Good night. Happy Pub Day.
Happy Pub Day. And JT, we have just 5 minutes left. So if anybody, I think we take one more or two more questions. Alone at last. I think we could take a few more questions. Lisa's saying, thank you so much for this event, Lisa. Thank you, everybody. Because I mean, there's so much to talk about here and there's so many different aspects of this book. Do you think
I've got one? I know one.
Tell me.
I finally remembered a question that nobody has asked me. Why is Olivia a designer? Why is Olivia a designer?
Oh, why is Olivia a designer?
Right?
Because I design the perfect house, but she can't design her perfect life.
Well, I mean, she can create homes for strangers, but she can't create a home for her own child. Wow. Right? Wow. But really, it's because I absolutely am addicted to design shows. And that's what I spend my weekend mornings doing, is watching people build things and design things and redecorate and tear things down and rebuild them. And it just makes me really happy. And I'm a huge fan of Kelly Wersler, and her masterclass was a huge influence on who Olivia ended up being.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Let's take one last question. Leach is saying, JT, do your book characters talk to you? And if they do, have you ever had to change something in the story because of it?
That's a great question. They do talk to me. I mean, they do. There's no way that they can't, right? They're all in my head and they won't leave me alone. I have had characters come out to, the scene and suddenly be speaking Spanish. I'm like, well, wait, who are you? Where did you come from? I've had them be very recalcitrant and not tell me the truth about things. I've had them speak in the wrong point of view, which is always interesting because then they're trying to hide themselves and not working with me. And then I have them that actually tell me everything. And Olivia is one of those. Yeah.
Wait, they're all different. Spanish?
No.
This is fascinating because let's analyze that for a second. If a character is speaking to you in a language that you do not consciously understand, we really have to look at, where is this character coming from? What is creative energy? Where is this story coming from? If they're literally speaking in a language you understand, over the course of 25 books, what have you learned about creative process? What have you learned about work? I mean, how can you explain this?
There's only so much about art you can explain, right? It's what we do with these downloads that we get and how we interpret them and how we turn them around for other people to interpret. I can't explain how that works. I can't explain other than I thought it was a woman from the neighborhood next door when they started to interview her, and she wasn't. She was from someplace entirely different. And that makes me have to step back and examine the story and say, wait a minute, what am I doing here? Where is this person coming from? Why is it important that they are represented? And that's, that's just the way sometimes it goes. I get very much in the flow and they start talking to me. They call writing controlled psychosis.
I did not know that. I didn't know that. Wow. Rita's saying, thank you so much for answering her question.
You're very welcome.
Juicy question.
Yeah, thanks for the great question.
JT. It's interesting because I speak a second language. I speak Russian and I dream in Russian at a level that I cannot speak it at, but I recognize that it is full, complete sentences and correct grammar, but that's a language I actually speak. And so I know that I actually have intaken more information than I'm able to process or speak, but I've never dreamed in a language that I don't speak. Like I've never dreamed in Spanish or French or Indonesian, like Bahasa. So I'm fascinated to hear that.
That's interesting because I do yoga moves in my sleep that I could never in a million years do. I dream yoga sequences that I'm doing back bends and crow and planks that, everything's off the ground. I forget what that one's called. And I wake up and I'm like, wow, that would be so amazing. And I can't do it in real life at all. So I think our minds let us do the things that we can do that consciously we stop ourselves. We tell ourselves we can't. Well, of course we can. Ooh. You can speak Russian. I can speak Italian. I speak Italian. And I don't do it well, but I do it enough to get around. But I can dream in Italian too. We just don't access much of our brains.
Yeah, we're not utilizing our brains to full capacity.
No,
I'm
not
just
at all.
so fascinated by this. So we've got to learn how to tap into that. I love that.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Well, JT, I just want to say, I want to remind everybody, first of all, you have a chance. This is a really rare opportunity to get a signed, personalized copy of JT's newest book, It's One of Us, when she will be in store at our favorite woman-owned independent bookstore, Murder by the Book, on March 1st. So get your signed and personalized copy. So the way that you do that is to click this link and then put in the notes section who you would like it signed to and how you would like it signed. And then JT will sign it and personalize it. So level 1 is a book, right? A book is cool. Level 2 is a signed book. That's level 2 cool. Luxe level, that is signed and personalized. Like I'm going to have JT say to Sara, the greatest chef, pastry chef on earth. I don't do pastries, but now I will. You can have her say anything you want. It doesn't have to be true. to Sara, the supermodel. I mean, it could be anything you want. This is the great thing about signed books. So grab your signed copy and just put in the notes how you want it signed. Perfect gift, perfect Mother's Day gift, Christmas, birthdays for yourself or others, your mother-in-law, your sister, your dog walker, whoever you need a gift for. Start stockpiling them now. Grab it now. You can thank me later. JT, happy pub day. Y'all, thank you for spending your Tuesday evening with us. Oh my gosh, someone's saying this is the best Mavens event we've ever had. Linda saying thank you all. Such a great chat. It has been a pleasure. Happy pub day. And
thank
JT,
you.
I can't wait
thank
to have you back
so much.
next time.
Oh,
all right,
thank you.
I will see you next Monday. Have a good week.